Hello, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of Pulse Pods. You're listening to your host, DJ El Pablo. Are you trying to find true meaning to life and living? Then you are at the right place. Welcome to Pulse Pods. Listen and gain something new today. Thank you. Hi, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of Pulse Pods. You're listening to DJ El Pablo, and I want to thank you for listening in. This is episode 23 in the Live, Love, Learn series. And we just want to say that we appreciate you for listening through, all the times we've been together from the first episode to now. And we're in a very interesting episode or interesting time. And I just want to take this opportunity to say happy Valentine's Day to you. It's the month of love for your neighbor, love for your spouse, love for your family, love for even your enemies. So I just want to say happy Valentine's Day to you. As you celebrate wisely and celebrate in the definition of true love. So, in this episode, we're starting a brand new series. It's going to be a 7-part series, the Love Language series. This is part 1, the introduction, and it's taken from the book, The 5 Love Languages. So, the 5 Love Languages. It is a very interesting topic that most people tend to easily misunderstand and make life mistakes in their relationships. Falling in love is easy, but staying in love, that's actually the challenge, isn't it? So how can you keep your relationship fresh and growing amid the demands, conflicts, and just the plain boredom of everyday life? The 5 love languages are practical, and it is an insightful concept. Now, Dr. Gary Chapman wrote the New York Times bestseller, The 5 Love Languages, and you will discover the secret that he has used to transform millions of lives, millions of relationships worldwide. And whether the relationship is flourishing or failing or even falling, Dr. Chapman's approach to showing and receiving love will help you experience deeper and richer levels of intimacy with your spouse. Now let's talk about Dr. Gary Chapman for a bit. He was born on my birthday, 10th of January, but not the same year. So he was born 10th of January 1938 in North Carolina. He went to Moody Bible Institute and holds a Bachelor's of Art and Master of Arts degree in anthropology from the Wheaton College and Wake University. Now, he got his Bachelor's of Arts degree from Wheaton College. He also received a Master of Religious Education and a Doctor of Philosophy degree in Adult Education from Southwestern Baptist Theological Seminary. He has published so many books, and the first of his is one that promotes the 5 love languages, and it was written in 1992 and has sold over 11 million copies and translated into 49 different languages, and it has ranked in the top 100 sellers on Amazon.com. He has written books on the 5 love languages from many different scenarios, including children, adults, and workplaces, including one with Dr. Paul White. He has also counseled families and couples in reviving or bringing back the spark in their relationships. For more on the author, you can simply just search online or go on to read the book yourself. First and foremost, we're going to take some time I'll take a minute to define what love actually is, because this is a very, very subjective concept. Love. Love is an intense feeling of deep affection for something or someone. It could be an interest or a pleasure in something. For me, I believe God is love. But from my point of view, love is not just a feeling, it is an action word. Love is an action of affection and compassion for something. It is not enough to feel, but putting it into action makes it worth more than just words. Action speaks louder than words, so they say. Now, the topic 5 Love Languages by Dr. Gary Chapman is a very complex and complete definition about the power of communicating love in relationships, both intimate and platonic. Now, if you read the book, you would understand that each of us give and receive love differently, and that makes us different people in our response to love. Different folks for different strokes for different folks, right? So most of us know the 5 love languages, and they include acts of service, quality time, words of affirmation, physical touch, and receiving gifts. And we often express one more than the other. And this could be your primary love language. We often express one more than the other. Sometimes we often express 2 or 3 or all of them. It depends on how the environment you've grown up in and what you've learned and your experiences and all of that. My question to you, my beautiful and amazing listeners, is: do you know what your love language is? If I asked you today what your love language is, what would you say it is? Or what would you say they are? You can type it in the comment section in anywhere you are listening to this podcast. I will definitely see it. If you adore it when your husband takes out the trash and he enjoys going out with you more than anything, your love language may be acts of service, and his love language could be quality time. Now, it is important to know your mate's love language so that you can speak it well. Doing this will enable his or her love tank to be renewed, or to remain full, or to keep filling up. Now, love tank is another complex topic to get into, but let's leave it at that. I'd love to talk more about love tank, but let's leave it at that. Now, when your spouse's love tank is full or filling up or replenishing, this will lead to a happier person and in turn a thriving relationship. Now, Dr. Gary Chapman constantly underscored that successful relationships take a lot of work, and if you do not speak your spouse's love language, he or she will not truly feel loved. Now, this brings me to one question. Do you know how your spouse wants to or needs to be loved? The 5 primary love languages are basically describing how your partner needs to or wants to be loved. Many people, married, unmarried, young and old, are making or have made huge mistakes by jumping into relationships blindly without actually knowing what they are signing up for or what they have signed up for. How do you identify your love language? How do you identify your mate's love language? Now, you need to first ask yourself some questions. If or when you're in a relationship, do you feel loved when your partner tells you, "I love you," or promise you something or praises you for something you did? Think about it. Do you feel loved when your partner tells you, "I love you," or praises you for something you did? Now, do you feel loved when your partner surprises you with a meaningful gift? Do you also feel loved when they go on a trip with just you, not with their friends, just with you alone, you both spending time? How about when your partner runs errands for you, or does the laundry, or even takes out the trash, like I said earlier? What about when your partner holds your hands while you are on walks or just walking in the park, on the street, taking a stroll, going shopping together? If you are able to answer these questions and more, then you could have a clue or a hint as to what love language your partner speaks, or what love language or what your own love language might be. So according to Dr. Gary Chapman, you could also try to recall what sorts of things you ask for in a relationship, or consider how you express love to your partner. Now, even before going into a relationship, I believe there are so many things to consider before taking the big leap. Now, I would give you three things to consider, three things I considered. Even in the last 2 years, the things I've learned about relationships have blown my mind, and it has even led me into thinking about getting into understanding the dynamics of relationships and how you can better understand your partner and how they react to specific things. But I've been one who has been an advocate for understanding people and wanting to know what our partners are all about. So first of the three questions you should ask is, how do they give or receive love? This is in response to the love languages. So if you want to understand how your partner gives or receives love, you could read the book 5 Love Languages by Dr. Gary Chapman. Second is, why do they act the way they do? Why do they act the way they do? This is in reference to their temperaments. You could read the book Why You Act the Way You Do by Tim LaHaye, and you would understand the 4 different temperaments and the 12 blends and the 16 blends. And you could express 2 temperaments. One is dominant, the other is recessive. Or you could express 3 temperaments. 2 are dominant, 1's recessive, or 1's dominant, 2 are recessive. It depends on your personality and why you act the way you do. So you better understand why you do some things. Now, number 3 will be who they are. So the question will be, who are they, or who are you? And that's all about their personality traits. It's not about their name or their nomenclature or something. It's about their personality. It's about who they are, who they really are. And you could read the book, The Birth Order book, and probably The Firstborn Order, or The Firstborn Advantage, sorry. The Firstborn Advantage. That book was gifted to me by a friend who was embarking on a trip and going away for a long time. And the book is written by Kevin Liman. And you could actually read these books and these 2 books, the Birth Order book or the Firstborn Advantage, and you'd understand why firstborns behave the way they behave, and you understand why secondborns or middleborns behave the way they behave, and you would understand why thirdborns or lastborns or people who were lastborns for a while before they became before there was a younger sibling, why they behave the way they behave, or why they probably are attention seeking and all that. You could learn all of that from the Birth Order book, and this will tell you about the personality traits of a person. It's not all of those horoscope and stuff. It's just simply observing from research, from behavior, from traits. These are very insightful books that could give you a bit of an understanding about people in general, and then your spouse or a potential partner. Now, in the next episode, we're going to be talking or focusing more on the 5 primary love languages in a bit of details. And then you can have an understanding about how to give and receive love, as well as know how your partner wants or needs to be loved. These are very deep, insightful things we all need to understand, so we don't go on making mistakes. It's not about going on your first date and asking questions about how many siblings they have or what's their favorite color. You could ask questions like, what do you do for fun? And you would find out how a person reacts. There was a point in my life when I didn't even know what fun was. I didn't even know what to define fun. But asking people questions gave me a hint of an idea, and I know what I do for fun. Sometimes I will want to go on long trips or road trips. Yeah, going for the road trip is the fun bit for me. But coming back, oh my God, it's boring. So it depends on how you treat or how you understand how your partner reacts to certain things. These are things that you could basically understand about love. and then you would now know not to make the leap without having these information. They say information is power. So I'm just going to leave you with this, and I'm going to say in the next episode we're going to focus more on one of the love languages, and then we would, you would now ask yourself some specific questions about if you are actually speaking your partner's language or you understand what your partner's language is. And then doesn't mean if you are already in a relationship, you can't retrace your steps and try to find a way back to actually loving your partner the way they need to or want to be loved. So I'm going to say thank you for listening to this today's episode. And hopefully episode 24 is going to be all about one particular love language, and that's going to be part 2 of the love language series. So God bless your heart, and thank you for listening. I hope to and believe that I will see you in the next one. So if you're listening to this, try and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, DJ Pablo 1. And then you could also subscribe to the podcast on every platform that you listen to it. Apple Podcast, Breaker Radio, Google Podcast, Anchor, and all the places, Castbox, all the places where you find or listen to podcasts. And then give your comments. What is your love language? What do you know is your love language? And then we can discuss more on it. I'll probably even read your comments if you want me to. But thank you for listening. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And don't also forget to like our Instagram, our Facebook, and our Twitter. Paul's Pods. Simple as that. Paul's Pods. PAULZPODZ. Thank you very much for listening. God bless your heart. See you on the next one.